my name is Nicole. Welcome. On this channel we talk about stories, mostly stories that we're writing, and I also talk a little bit about reading and journaling and how those things can make us better writers. So today, to welcome anybody who's new, who's seeing this for the first time, I'm going to give you a little update on my year, so no matter when you watch this, you're going to know exactly what I'm working on, which is so cool. So right now it is the end of April and I have been writing a story that is set during the 1837 Upper Canada Rebellion. That's something that happened in Canada that was kind of like the Canadian Revolution, except it did not work. That's what I've been working on for Camp NaNoWriMo. So I am about 50,000 words, or I will be by tomorrow, 50,000 words into that. Unfortunately, I'm only about halfway through, damn it. So I'm gonna have to be working on that through May. Plan for May is to keep up a Camp NaNoWriMo style work habits and finish off the 1837 manuscript by May 30th. Or 31st, whatever it is. Then it's going into a drawer. In June, I have big plans. So this last NaNoWriMo, I worked a little bit on 1837, but I worked more on a series of Christmas short stories. The idea, there's 5 right now, the idea was that each short story would be its own story unto itself that you could read and enjoy, but when you read them all together, they told the story of a family from 1985 to 2019. Now, as I think of it, it's in my drawer, proverbial drawer right now, and I think I'm gonna have to add a 6th one, which isn't a big deal. It's only 3,000 words, so that'll take like 2 days, and then I'm gonna spend the rest of June editing that short story series. And since that's totally only about 21,000 words, and I feel pretty confident in it, I'm also planning on plotting and working on a story idea that I'm calling Project Musical. It's not about a musical. It's about a girl who's directing a play, and it's set in an art school. It's Project Musical, kind of stuck as the name, but it's not about a musical, so that's what I'm sticking at. That's what it is. I don't know. So that's gonna be my June. Then in July, for that Camp NaNoWriMo, I am going to be drafting Project Musical. I have the feeling, like a gut feeling, that that one's gonna be very fast to draft, but I'm still gonna set out August for continuing to draft Project Musical. During that time over the summer, I'm planning on sending my Christmas short stories, there's gonna be 6 of them now, to beta readers, if I can find them. Otherwise, doing a very painful process on Scribophile, which is not, it's not that bad with short stories, but still. Okay, and that brings us to September. So in September, I am planning on starting to edit 1837 and getting feedback from those beta readers on the Christmas short stories and editing those stories. I'm going to be continuing to edit 1837 into October, as well as potentially doing something with the Christmas short stories, like submitting them to some sort of short fiction contest or looking into some sort of publication, either individually or as a group, or maybe at some point self-publishing them. But if I decided to do that, that wouldn't happen until 2021 for sure, because I need more time. So then that brings me to November, and November is the big question mark. I could continue to edit 1837 if it needs it. I could start editing Project Musical, or I could start something entirely new. And if I did that, of course, I would have to spend a substantial amount of time in October prepping for that. But I have a bunch of ideas on the back burner. Some of them I've already written stuff for. So one of my ideas is that I have 12,000 words of, I think it would be more of a short YA type, maybe even a novella more than a novel, but we'll see. It's about a girl on a pirate ship because she's a pirate, and their crew captures a very handsome rich captive, and then, you know, stuff happens. Another idea that I have may or may not be in the same world as the pirate story, but there's potential for it to be. It's about 4 kingdoms, and there are 4 women who are either ruling or the partners of the rulers of those kingdoms, and they're all friends. They have a complicated history, and it's sort of about how the 4 of them are navigating the politics and ruling over their kingdoms, and I have some cool ideas for that. They're gonna have to like fight each other in wars and help each other and all that stuff. And then my final idea that I'm thinking about, I know that there is potential to set a story in the same world as Project Musical, just with sort of a different set of characters, but in the same arts school environment. BTW, Project Musical set at an art school, or to do sort of another thing with 1837, either a sequel, which could work because I know how I'm ending it. It leaves the door open. I don't know if I want to do that or not though, but I could also do another sort of Canadian history type shindig there with the same sort of style of putting girls, women into the events and exploring how they might have had some influence over them, which by the way is the premise for 1837. You know, you only hear about men in these stories, there's like lists and lists of names, but all of these guys were married, and it's not like the women were sitting over there on the couch doing nothing. Like, what woman would do that? Maybe some of them would, but most of the women I know would be like, honey, I think that you should really stop the rebels, please. You know, that kind of thing. So it's about sort of exploring how women were involved in that, or imagining how they may have been involved, even though it's not documented. So there's obviously other things that I could do with Canadian and or other history in that vein. So those are my plans for 2020. Oh, except for December. December is going to be a wild card depending on November. If I draft something in November, I'll probably finish it. I might, hopefully will be finished editing 1837 and giving it to beta readers, and it might be time to edit Project Musical. So that's my 2020, all my goals set up for it. Do you know what you're working on this 2020? Have you figured out what story ideas you're working on? Are you working on multiple, or do you just prefer to focus on one at a time? Very excited to hear what you guys are working on. I encourage you right now to do everything you can to appease the ruler lords of YouTube, the likes, the subscribes, and you should do it if you like what you see and you want to keep chatting, and I'm excited to chat with you. See you next time!